ladies and gentlemen, the time has arrived for the first time. This is the first time ever, Ken, that you'll be speaking about Behind Enemy Lines Colombia officially on a podcast.
Yeah. I mean, little bits and pieces here and there, but we've never actually
Dove into it.
gotten into it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, Behind Enemy Lines is essentially a trilogy. The first one came out in 2001, starring Owen Wilson and Gene Hackman. And then I believe the second one was, and this happens to a lot of great action films, you get the great standout, and then for some reason, they don't put a bigger budget for the next one. It's all, and that's an action, it's kind of an action movie trope where they don't put a bigger budget in the next one. The budget gets considerably lower, and we'll talk about that, and we will on the budget. But the second one became Behind Enemy Lines 2, Axis of Evil. I mean, I don't think it never matched the level of the first, but I don't think it got as bad a rap as it could have. That was in 2006. And then we move over to Behind Enemy Lines Colombia, which was 2009. And this is where your boy is, I'll say, billed as the main star. Did you feel like your character was the main star of that film?
So this is interesting. I was actually in second position in that film. The star of that movie is Joe Manganiello. He was booked as the lead. If you look on the credits, he's actually first one mentioned. But I'm the one that you see on the cover of the DVD, and I'm the one that you saw on all the posters and everything. It's interesting. So that right there, I went in and we both had, I think we were there together on the same day doing photography for the movie. And so the movie comes out. We have no idea what it's going to look like. They drop it. We see that, it's me. I had assumed that was what it was going to be, or maybe it was going to be all of us, or at least Joe and I. I had no idea that they were going to, and they put him, he's just a tiny little, barely see him. So here's like the most interesting part of that was like Joe, this is what Joe wanted to do with his life. He has worked years and years and years going to acting. He went to there's a big acting school in Pittsburgh, Mellon State, or anyway, it's a big acting school, right? And he's been on One Tree Hill. He had a role in Spider-Man. He was Flash Thompson, right? But it's all like these little bit characters. He was on How I Met Your Mother as I believe. Well, he gets his first lead in a movie. So he was really, really excited about it. Right? So the thing drops, and we're actually doing an autograph session. And I remember we were bouncing around, and we were at a Best Buy for a little while, and we were sitting next to each other and signing. And if you look at that, hold up that cover again. So some of the DVDs actually had like this cardboard sleeve that went over the top, right?
Yes, slip-off case. Hell yeah.
And that's what, so you see where it says all new movie featuring WWE superstar Mr. Kennedy? Well, wouldn't you know that on every copy that we signed that day, that sticker was on top of where Joe is, like covering him up. So
Mike Wazowski treatment.
Mike Wazowski, I was going to say.
I was worried. He was definitely like he was irritated about it. It was something we talked about, and I thought he was pissed at me, and I don't have any say over it. And obviously, it's a WWE film. They're gonna use their guy. I mean, it makes sense. But I felt terrible that. I was happy. I was happy that I was on the cover, but also at the same time, like, I know what he's going through.
Not so far from wrestling, mate. Is that not the same thing? Like you got wrestlers that not I won't use Logan Paul as an example, but you've got wrestlers who essentially pay their dues. They go through the grind, and then someone comes in, maybe next to no training, gets the glory. It's the same type of thing. Not exactly the same because you're not exactly coming in and taking the glory, but in the same sense, like WWE didn't really pay attention, or maybe the film producers didn't really pay attention to the crux of it. And you probably understood that on a deeper level as well, coming from the wrestling world. Where, I mean, I don't know if, suppose you didn't have it early on in the WWE career, where because you came in really hot.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure there were people who felt that way about me. Like, look at this guy, just comes in, you know, everything handed to him, the rocket ship up his ass. And I'm sure there were people, oh, he's the flavor of the week. You can guarantee like this will be a flash in the pan, because you see that all the time. You see somebody new come in and they push them right out of the gates, and then they just fizzle out right away. Hey, it's Mr. Anderson, and if you're like me, you need to stay locked in, whether you're in the gym, gaming, or just grinding through the day. That's why I roll with Rogue Energy. They've got 3 killer options: hydration, no sugar, just clean electrolytes, energy packed with focus and stamina boosters, chill when it's time to wind down without crashing. All 3 are just $34.99, but because you're watching Mic Check, I got your back. Head to rogueenergy.com and use the promo code MicCheck for 10% off. Stay sharp, stay strong, stay rogue.
With Joe being the main star and essentially you being the promotion, you're being billed as the main star. Does that not essentially show you where you were at in the eyes of the WWE?
What do you mean?
Like WWE clearly had plans for you.
Oh,
like if it's ever not been, like, you can't understate that. The minute you came in, right up to the minute you were gone, like you were on your way completely.
They were always very clear to me about that too. Like that was their plan. Like they had big plans. I remember, I got the cover of the WWE magazine one month. I went to Stamford and I had to do some stuff at the office that day. And I remember specifically touring, walking around with Shane, and Shane was talking about like, this is the direction that we're going with, he wasn't able to say exactly what it was, but he was like, we're going in your direction, kid, that kind of thing. And it was, something was always like bubbling, and then I would get injured or, I'd get in trouble, whatever, and it would stop, start.
So to your knowledge, you were the first one offered this role in WWE, because I have read that for the Marine, Cena actually was second choice because it was Stone Cold who was meant to get that role, but he turned it down. So to your understanding, you were the only one offered that role.
I was, I'm positive of that. The process itself was kind of interesting. Remember Mark Carano at TV pulled me aside and said, "Hey, there's an opportunity. We're doing a new movie." I don't even know if they had a tentative name for it. I think it was just, Behind Enemy Lines. It's a sequel to Behind Enemy Lines. They didn't know what it was going to be called. And we're going to have you wherever we were going to be. I don't even remember if it was Boston or wherever it was. We flew in a day early and went to a hotel, and there was we all piled into. I remember walking into this room, and there was like there had to be 20 other talent in that room. I remember Miz being there. I remember Batista being there. I remember Spanky being there. Like there were all kinds of people that were there reading for this role, and we just went in a room with the casting director and read. And honestly, like this is something that always wanted to do from the time that I was a little kid. But I don't know why, but I was able to, at that time, just sort of like not care about it, like, yeah, this, I'm gonna go knock it out of the park. But if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. And I feel like that's always where, you hear about it all the time. Somebody's just about ready to give up acting. I literally was going to quit, and my agent called me, and I said I'd take this last one, and I went in there and I just threw it away, and that's the one that ends up landing because and it turns out to be that, like, not to get too off track, but like acting isn't people put too much on it, too much emphasis on stuff, and instead of just really throwing it away,
Yeah,
it comes off more natural. But
so
it was, I did the audition and then waited. I want to say it was like a month before I heard anything. And I was at home on my day off, and I got a phone call from whoever the head of WWE Films was at the time. I can't remember the guy's name, but he said, "We'd like to offer you the role. Here's what we're going to pay you. It's just going to be a lump sum. There's no," and it was like it was a decent chunk of money, but it wasn't what I thought. It wasn't what I thought I was,
yeah, as a movie star.
I was thinking hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was a good chunk of change. It was just like, but it was kind of there was no room for negotiation. It was like, here's what we're going to offer you, or here's what we're going to give you. It wasn't, how do you feel about that or anything. And of course, being that WWE, this is the way WWE operated at the time. No agents, we are unrepresented. So this is what we're giving to you.
Yeah.
Are you going to sign it? Yes or no? That's about the extent. But I didn't really care. I was like, you know what? This is a foot in the door. This is my first one. And so I was super excited about doing it, though.
So did you have to sign a contract separate, or was this just something that, like, if WWE sends you out on the road, it's the same kind of, did they just lump that, doing that filming as the same as saying, right, you're working a European tour?
No, I signed a contract for the movie.
Yeah.
Separately.
And you don't get, like, so it literally was just, here's a chunk of change, and you're required to do A, B, C, and D, and that's it.
Yep. No royalties, no backhand stuff. Just this is what you get. And so
this, if I'm right in thinking, I don't know if you'll know much about this, but is it a case where a director, a producer will come with the project to WWE, WWE will say, we'll commission this on these terms, and they align, or do WWE set out to just start from the ground up?
I'm not sure how they acquired that particular property, Yeah, that I couldn't even venture a guess. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think with so I recently just watched this film. I remember seeing it many years ago, but with fresh eyes recently. And one thing that stood out to me clearly was the Joe Manganiello. Like, when I looked at that, I was like, all right,
it's Manganiello, by
Manganiello, the way. Is it? I
so
think
there's a funny story behind that, right?
Yeah,
Manganiello.
Right. But go ahead, finish what you're going to.
I was just basically just going to say that it was such a WWE thing when I watched that, going, right. So I do get it, because at the time, more people will have known who Mr. Kennedy is over Joe Manganiello. Yeah. And that's, I understand that. I do agree with Joe in a sense, though, that, like, he's in here on the cover, like, that was a bit too far, Yeah,
and you know what? To be honest, I don't think it was intentional. I don't think it was a slight.
No.
I think whoever did that it was probably like a completely separate department.
It usually is.
Anything about probably didn't know what the script was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've my guy Matthewman. So I've had a hand in putting together some wee deals with him and movie makers. And it usually is that they'll say, "Here are the assets. Here are the people. Can you put them on the poster? Here's the main guy." So he sprinkles in the rest, and then they'll go back and creatively they'll go, "Well, that doesn't make sense. That guy shouldn't be next to him because." So he doesn't get a full outline of what it is he's working with. So I can speak to that a little bit. Tell us a story about how you knew it was Manganiello as opposed to Manganiello.
So we did a press junket one day where we go and we would we'd sit in chairs in a little booth, and camera pointed at us, and they would say, "All right, we're going to shoot you to Philadelphia. This is WKRP in Cincinnati. We're going to be talking with the morning show, blah blah blah." And then they would somehow work that feed in, and then every single newscaster call him Joe Manganiello, and he would stop and go, "It's Manganiello." It's Manganiello. He was really getting irritated by it too. It was pretty funny.
No way.
It's like, it's one of those things too where if you're gonna do an interview, it's somewhat disrespectful to not even do any sort of
due diligence. Most definitely.
On that topic, actually, so these press events that you had to attend, were you were still expected to attend as Mr. Kennedy, or were you just you?
Yeah, every event that I ever did for WWE was pretty much just me. They never had me in character or anything like that.
No mic hanging from the roof.
No, none of that. This is funny. If I ever bump into Terry Crews, I'm gonna apologize profusely to him. We did a red carpet event. It was actually a green carpet event because we were SmackDown was going over to the CW network. So this green carpet event, I remember it was in LA at this really posh hotel, and they had Entertainment Tonight set up here, and then 20 feet away is whatever the next, and it was like there was probably 10, 15, maybe 20 stations. It was a really long carpet, tons of people there, and it was basically the CW was rolling out all of their new programs, and I think Everybody Hates Chris was
phenomenal show, mate. So good.
Terry Crews. I've heard that. I've heard it, and my kids are watching it right now on Netflix when they're at their mom's house, and they love it too.
Oh, so good. Please watch it with Anastasia.
Yeah.
Please.
So this was, pretty sure, is relatively new in my WWE career, and they were really like, we want you to do your thing, do your thing, do your thing. And so literally every fucking 10 feet that I would go, they would be like, "Who are you?" "Mister!" Terry was right behind me.
Oh no.
At one point, after like the 5th or 6th one, he just fucking looked at me.
Oh man.
And then I was like, I should probably stop doing that so loud. I can just imagine, I busted every one of his interviews, and probably everybody else that was on. I'd be willing to bet money that they've told this story to people, like multiple people. So we were at this red carpet event, and this fucking dumb wrestler kept yelling his name over and over again.
They're the type of people that would watch your match with Randy Orton and say, "Yeah, he definitely dropped him on his neck."
Definitely deserved to be fired for that.
Oh, that's quite amazing. I actually hope to find the interviews of Terry Crews halfway through his interview and then stopping and being like, "This guy." That's quite funny.
We'll
That's
find
actually
it.
amazing.
But just
Yeah.
like this is the thinking back, like how embarrassing, you know, like, that I didn't think or didn't know any better.
Nah, you were only following. You're a good
I was-
soldier, man.
Yeah.
You're doing what was asked of you, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
and that's your thing. That's what brought you to the dance, really. So why, would someone else that thing? Obviously, for you is that you're using your voice in a place where people are using their voices to be interviewed, right? But if it was Carrot Top, you don't think he's got props? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but the props aren't busting everybody else's in. You know,
That's just happenstance. You know what I mean?
his giant pencil isn't poking the person.
It probably would be, to be fair. See, at this point, had you had much acting experience? I know for a fact that wrestlers are actors, right? To a higher degree because they're stuntmen and actors, and then whatever else goes in there. Um, Aside from wrestling, did you have any experience of amateur dramatics or anything like that?
So I did, like, again, this is something that from the time that I was a little kid, this is what I wanted to do. So I was always any like proper training. No, I definitely took a few acting classes here and there. I was in theater couple years when I was in grade school and then middle school, high school. I actually was my first thing that I ever did was I was offered the lead in the school play. And I had never been up in front of a crowd of people before. Never done any acting before that. Like aside from making movies with the home video camera with my buddies, like we would write scripts and. Other than that, though, I didn't have any previous. But 8th grade, I got the lead in the play, and I had to sing like 8 solo songs. And yeah. But I got bit with the bug there. There was something that I definitely wanted to do. And then when I got into high school, I did forensics. I don't know if you guys have forensics. I don't know what you call it there, but here in the U.S., there's like, there's play acting, there's you can do debate, there's speech, all these different things. I did play acting every year. We went to state every year, got gold medals every year. Did a couple plays after high school. So that was the extent of my, I never took any actual acting classes with anybody.
So to see when they says we're going to put you in a movie,
Mm-hmm.
were you like, I better? No, you just felt so natural to be like, I'm just going to go for it anyway and give it what I've got.
Yeah.
I suppose they wouldn't really ask you. Mark Carano and the guys in WWE wouldn't probably have asked you if they didn't think you could pull it off because you're pulling it off on TV every week, right?
That's the way the way I thought. That was my mentality. It was like, this is what I do. I'm an actor. I always thought of wrestlers as actors. I've gotten into arguments with people, other wrestlers, and what's his name? Big John Gaborik. Mm-hmm. He was the head of TNA for a while. Like he was that was at the end. I remember having this conversation with him saying like, we need to wrestlers need to take acting lessons. He was like, nope, we're not actors. We're not actors. And we just had this big back and forth, and I couldn't get him to understand what I meant by that. And that's like in wrestling, if the old school guys never wanted to be compared to actors because of kayfabe, and this is real. Mm-hmm. Well, that's actually what good acting is. It's
suspension of disbelief.
Right. Mm-hmm. It feels real when you see, good acting is indistinguishable from reality.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. CM Punk says he's not an actor; he's a reactor. which is a sense an actor in itself, right?
Mm.
Action,
Yeah.
reaction is still in the same
Yeah.
vein.
And that's
And-
what my acting coaches, the ones that I did end up, because I did end up going, hiring an acting coach and stuff later on. And that was acting is reacting. Acting is reacting.
Yeah. No, that's
And it's
amazing.
listening is you got to listen to the lines that are coming in instead of like having everything in your head and rehearsed and ready to just spit out your line. It's like you have to take in whatever that other actor is giving you as though it's the first time you're hearing it and react. And it's going to be slightly different every time you hear it.
So was that your
actually? Sorry,
I was going to say. So was that your experience then on this film, in terms of the script, learning lines? How did you take in the lines, and what was your process? And also, what did you think of the script?
I wasn't crazy about it. It was like
Mhm.
it didn't seem like it was anything crazy. Again, it was like it was a foot in the door. I thought it's gonna get some eyes on it. It's not a bad thing to do. I never look at it as it's just gonna be a net positive. And so learning the lines, I mean, I'm telling you, we get to TV every Monday. They'd hand you a script, 3 pages of dialogue, memorize this, and you got this is the final draft came out at 3:30 and Raw starts at 7. So then you're on segment 1, so you got a match and you got the main event dark match. Oh, and they need you to go take pictures and you got some phoners to do and some one-liners to do for, some different markets that we're going into and stuff. So I was kind of
making me nervous.
I was kind of used to it. Yeah. It's stressful. TV days are super, super stressful.
Yeah.
And then also on the day, every day we would run lines. So whoever I was in the scene with, we would just get together and kind of run our lines and run them and run them and run them. And when the cameras weren't rolling, we had some free time. We were running them again if we needed to, if we didn't feel comfortable. So it's kind of funny. I remember, Keith David and Stephen Bauer, both, hella good actors, right? Like very, very successful actors.
The minute I saw Stephen Bauer, I was like, "There's no way he is not the fucking bad guy."
Yeah,
he's phenomenal. He's a Breaking Bad, Scarface. Like he's a bad motherfucker in films.
He's what's the Donovan? Ray Donovan. Have you seen Ray Donovan?
I don't think I've seen that. No.
He's so good in that.
But he is excellent.
And he plays like different characters too. Slightly different characters. But both of those guys, I remember the assistant director saying that she jacked them up because they didn't know their lines. They were like, I had never. This is my first foray into this world, so I wasn't familiar with the actor going line. And that happened a bunch, I guess. And I remember like the assistant director saying you need to fucking learn your lines. Because it was just, I imagine those guys do so much stuff. And this was just
Do you know, I can, it is, so actors with a bigger name, right, like Keith David and Stephen Bauer, when they do, say, lower budget stuff, it purely is to fatten the wallet. And there's like, unfortunately, that actors will take on jobs where they go, here's my 3 main titles this year that I'm going to give everything to because these are the ones that are these are the WrestleMania main events, right?
Yeah.
They view lower budget films as dark matches. I'll wing it. I'll get there. They're not going to fire me. What are you talking about, right?
Yep.
And I don't even think it's a disrespectful thing for them. I think it's they basically they put everything into what is main event for them, and the rest they're like, we'll figure it out. They know that they know that their star power in these films One of the biggest ones, and I don't think he does that with his lines. I think he's Eric Roberts. You know, Julia Roberts' brother. He's also in many films, is credited to his
Oh,
own
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
He's like, I've got friends that have worked with him because he just will accept every job because he's like, I just love to act. You know,
Yeah.
crazy. But it's good that you actually got to experience that. Did you feel, and this isn't throwing shade at them, did you feel that any of the actors, you don't even have to name,
Mhm.
did you feel like any of them treated it like a dark match?
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
And then the newer guys, the guys who were like my fellow SEALs who were trying to break in, including Joe.
5-star matches.
Like fucking yep.
Yeah.
We piled into a room. I remember the first day we got there. We had 2 days where we got to kind of just know each other. We had a couple table reads, and I remember we piled into somebody's room and watched. There's a documentary on Navy SEALs. It's like a 6-hour, or maybe it's just a 3-hour. It's several segments, whatever, and it's actually like it's a buds class. It's people going through how
Jesse
we.
Ventura.
Was Jesse doing the
Yeah, he was a bud.
Maybe?
Yeah, he talks about I was a Navy SEAL and I was in the water. He talks about it, but it's entertaining. But he was a bud.
But was he in that? Are you saying he was in that documentary?
No, he was in that. He was in the buds.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah. Oh yeah, he definitely he talks about that a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was definitely some guys that just kind of phoned it in.
Yeah.
I think the cool thing about it was that those guys didn't take it like they didn't entirely take the piss out of it because Tim Matheson was directing it, and they respect the hell out of Tim Matheson.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with Tim Matheson, but
Yeah.
he's also he's done tons of
National
stuff.
Lampoon's Animal House, The West Wing, Virgin River, which is a recent
I walked up to him and I said, Ken Anderson, Rush Chairman, damn glad to meet you.
Nice.
Which is a line. What a nerd, right? Like what a nerd that I would say that.
Did he appreciate it?
He did.
Yes.
That's
and I felt like it was a genuine, not just like a oh bless your heart.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
One of my favorite movies, definitely.
They're a forgotten art.
Boss.
100%. You were in the services. Was there anybody else there working with you that had been in the services in any stretch? They were, yeah.
Yeah, they had a military technical advisor. The guy was a Marine, so he wasn't actually a Navy SEAL, right? Which is kind of funny because there's one thing that I do in the movie that fucking drives me crazy to this day. So Joe actually brought in. He got to be friends with an actual Navy SEAL, and he brought that guy onto set. So he would come. He wasn't there every day, but he was there for maybe a week and just kind of hanging around on set and stuff. But he wasn't there the day that. So this military technical advisor in the movie, I am a saw gunner. It's the type of weapon that I carry. It's called a saw. And this guy, I asked him how do people hold this weapon, and he said you can either hip fire it or you can shoulder fire it. It's a big gun. I mean, it's fucking heavy. It weighs probably, I don't know, 30 pounds, which is heavy for a firearm, right? So he told me that I could fire it. I could hip fire it. And for one of the scenes, I thought I'm firing into the jungle. These people are coming after us. And so I felt like was it Jesse Ventura in not Commando,
Predator. I ain't got time to bleed.
He's mowing down the trees and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Like that was my This is awesome. And then like a day or two later, that I was talking to that guy, and I happened to tell him that I hip fired, and he was like, "A Navy SEAL would never hip fire that. That's always shoulder fired." Like,
Oh.
However, can I just stand up for you here? This is an action film. And
yeah,
most things that ever happen in life never happen in an action film.
but I'm telling you, as somebody who was in the military, who watches military movies, especially anything doing that has to do with like boot camp, like this would drive me crazy. I've seen movies where a drill sergeant will go, "Drop and give me 20." We never got a number. Like, no. It was beat your face, private.
Yeah.
Beat your face. Drop, push until I get tired, private. And that was just, you never knew how long you were gonna go. And yeah.
Oh.
So like little stuff like that irritates me with continuity and little holes and stuff like that. I mean, it's not like I'm not losing sleep over it or anything like that.
Yeah. No, I get
It's
that.
just one of those why did I do that?
Yeah. I suppose it's like someone making a wrestling film also. And then a wrestler watches it and goes, "Oh, come on."
Yep.
I think
That's
even fans now could go, even like if you watch Heels. Did you watch the TV series Heels?
I tried to. I started it.
Yeah.
I watched a couple of them and I couldn't.
I thought that was quite good, but even in everything, I think one of the best things that were made recently was the Iron Claw. Great film, but the Von
Haven't
Erichs.
seen it yet.
Oh, please do. You should. So good. That's actually more of a story about brothers
Yeah.
with wrestling in it than it is about wrestling.
I've just been told that like it's heavy. So
Oh, 100%.
And
100%.
I haven't had a night where I've been like, I'd like to ball my eyes out there. I like
yeah.
But
it'll fuck you up. It'll
yeah,
fuck you up.
Yeah.
Couple F5s right in the heart. But as far as wrestling movies go, it was very good. But like you say,
I'm sorry, the wrestler. Right away in the opening scene, there's something that Mickey Rourke is in. I think he's taking his wrist tape off in the dressing room or whatever, in the locker room, and somebody comes in and goes, "You really put them over there tonight, or you really put that crowd over," or something like that. It's like it's not, nobody talks like that. That's not.
Yeah.
It's the right terminology, just in the wrong situation.
Totally.
Are you familiar with all the controversy between Mickey and Chris Jericho when that film was coming out, or just after it came out?
I feel like I saw Jericho do an interview where he briefly. What are you referring to? What?
So it was something along the lines of that Mickey Rourke was meant to be wrestling Jericho at Mania, or they were trying to make it happen. And he agreed to it, but then I think his agent tried to make it not happen. So Vince told Chris to go on, I can't remember the name of the late night show, but it was a late night interview show. Mickey was on there, and he was like, "Go on as your character and really, really just lay into him, make it so he can't say no." And he didn't go for it too much, but he did lay it on a little bit. And Mickey thought he was actually going after him. He didn't realize this was just character work, trying to put him in the match. And it was the next time the two of them met, Mickey had two big guys with him. One, I think, was like a Israeli assassin, and the other was a trained MMA fighter, like a really dangerous guy, because he thought Chris really wanted to go.
He thought he wanted to fight him for real or something?
Yeah, it was something along those lines. I mean, definitely watch Chris Jericho tell the story. He'll tell it like perfectly how it was.
Chris Jericho worked Mickey Rourke. Talk about acting skill. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that.
It's a funny story though. When he tells it, it's just crazy.
With your military experience, did you find that it was useful? For example, the way you hold guns, the way you carry yourself, the way you move. Like, were you quite lucky in that sense that you had that experience and you felt that it really added to the films. And did any of your co-stars like see you at work and go, right, should I be holding it like this?
No, I don't recall any interactions like that. I did definitely. I felt comfortable. Felt more at home. I think just because I had worn a uniform and I had, done a lot of that stuff. They actually put us through like a mini little boot camp. That military technical advisor. I have a feeling like he thought he was going to run us through way harder. I honestly, like, I remember getting there on that day and I was pretty excited about doing this, right? Like, I was pretty gung-ho, but I do remember them telling us, we're going to put you through a little bit of a boot camp. And I was like, fuck, I already went through boot camp, man. I don't want to do it again. It was the worst, I had fun while I was doing it. I don't ever want to have it's like eating really, really hot stuff for me now. Like I've done it. I'm good. I don't need to do it anymore. Although I would go on the hot ones, but
yeah. Hey, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hot food's okay. I think. Who wants to be in pain while you're supposed to be enjoying something, though, right?
That's the way I look at it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of a kick's okay, but like let's not have pain, you know.
Yeah.
So when you went, and this is kind of like a question I can flip also, right?
Yeah.
When you came in, so you know what it's like to be in a wrestling bubble and have the actor come in, right? And what the perception is in your area. Did you experience any of that on the other side when you went over to the acting world? And when you came back from the film, was there any like, oh, look who it is, Mr. Film Star from the wrestling side of things?
I definitely didn't feel that way I felt like everybody was super warm and inviting and helpful. I had a lot of questions because again, this is my first time. It operates, it's similar because we are doing episodic television every week. So there's a lot of similarities, but there's also like, there's plenty of differences. So everybody was like super cool with like, no, this is how this operates. It's funny because in the wrestling world, we work sometimes 15, 16, 18, 19-hour days, right? I'm talking like first day, get up at 3 a.m., got to be to the airport for 5 a.m., then fly to whatever city. Sometimes you land and you got to, take your time to get your bags and then you go get your rental car. And then sometimes you got a 2 or 3 hour drive to get to the next. Like sometimes they don't fly you into the actual city. Just the way the tours work out, it just makes sense for you to drive after you get in. So you got a 3 hour drive, right? And then you get into the town, you check into your hotel, drop your stuff, go find something to eat, go to the gym, go back, maybe take a 30-minute nap or just freshen up. Or sometimes you don't even have time to do that. Sometimes you grab your stuff, you go to the arena, you wrestle the show that night, you get out at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, then you got to go grab a bite to eat. And by the time you get back to the hotel room, it's like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. So like, it's almost if I got up at 3 a.m., that's, 23 hours and so I'm used to that type of, and you just do it. We got to make the towns, whatever that takes, you just do it. So I remember one day we were filming and it was getting late in the day. And the assistant director was like, guys, folks, I just need you to know, we have to wrap in 15 minutes. We have 15 minutes to get this scene and the next scene. So you guys need to be on your A games, And I went over to her and I was like, hey, like, let's just fucking stay until we get it done. Just fucking, if we gotta, I'll stay here all night if we need to. She was like, she kind of laughed. She was like, "Oh, it doesn't work like that here." And then she started me up that 8 hours is 8 hours in that line of work in the film industry. If you go over 8 hours because of the union, right? There's such a strong union. Well, at least in that regard, that you go over 8 hours, I believe they have to pay you like double time.
Yep.
And then if you go like 10 hours, then they got to pay you like triple time. And if you go more than that, they got to pay golden time, which is I think 5 times your daily rate or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so when they're on strict budgets, it's like this. So that was one thing that I felt was kind of interesting. Another thing was everybody always wanting to like wait on me hand and foot. In the wrestling business, at least when I broke in, you don't get your own private dressing room. I guess guys do now, but when I broke in, it was like everybody dressed together. When I was doing extra work, I was dressing in the locker room with everybody. Stone Cold, The Rock, those guys were in the one locker room. So for me to roll up to set with my bag and having somebody follow me and going like, "Here, I'll grab your bag. I'll take your bag for you." No, I got it. And they're like almost like fucking
Happy Gilmore, you fucking launch him.
Yeah, in the wrestling business, like you actually would get heat if you saw somebody pulling another wrestler's bag, everybody would be like, "Oh, look at the big superstar over there."
Wow.
Wow. Seriously, like mega nuclear heat.
Wow.
So it was just little things like that.
That's insane. What was it that who was it? Arnold Schwarzenegger says, and this made me when you said there, "Here, let's just stay till we get it done." Arnold Schwarzenegger during Conan would crawl across the desert and to do this scene, and the director said to him, like, "We can stop now because your arms are all bloodied, right? You're in pain. Let's stop." And Arnie was like, "No, listen. This pain will heal, but this movie will last forever. We go till we get the perfect shot."
That's awesome.
And that's that's the recipe for success, is that attitude. So I'm sure that producer really appreciated your enthusiasm, which I don't know, that probably doesn't get you heat in the movie world. Like, it's the opposite. But when you had gone back from wrapping the film to the locker room, did you feel at that point, like you just said there, someone carrying your bag? "Oh, look at Mr." Was there any of that because you just come off a film?
No, but I will say, like, there were certain people that I think downplayed it.
It's a trilogy. It's the third one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or like, there was a couple of office people who were in the production department, in the production area of things, that were just like, if it would get brought up, they'd be like, "Oh, whatever." So he did a movie, no big deal. It was like, I'm already humble about it, bro. Like, it's cool. Like,
yeah,
I know it wasn't a big deal. I'm not thinking I'm a
No,
fucking
but if
like that.
was a big deal though. It was a big deal. You shouldn't have to downplay that. That's bullshit. You shouldn't have to downplay it. It was a big deal. And you know what? They're on your team. Why wouldn't they want to see you succeed?
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, that's my mentality on everything.
Yeah.
It almost irritates. I bristle a little bit whenever I hear somebody like somebody do something and then somebody will say like, "Oh, I'm so jealous of you. Like, I'm so jealous that you got to do that." Like, I hate that. I'm not jealous. I'm happy for you. Like, I legit am.
yeah.
You just said it. We're all on the same team. Like, we can all fucking make money and do.
And was it like other people's success does not in any way like hinder your your possibilities. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It costs you nothing to be happy for someone. You know?
Yeah. Yep.
And you know what? Every opportunity that arises for other people around you, it literally doesn't take anything away from you. It's just a deep insecurity, really. And I think when you let go of that and just go, you know what, I'm really happy that this person got to, because that might be the only time they get to do anything like that. The fact that they've done that, like, we should share in that, because it's contagious when positive, there's positive instances that happen.
Yeah.
It's contagious, and if anything, it only breeds for you to be hungry to go and get your own, which is crazy. That, like, the environment of wrestling, right, is almost like walking on eggshells, but some of those eggshells are glass, some are nails, some are bloody disease ridden. Like,
And
with the way,
really, that truly was the environment, and it was by design. It was that's the way that Vince liked for things to be. He likes for people to always be fucking looking over their shoulder and always.
Mm-hmm.
What did you mean by that when you said that? Oh, good luck. What did you mean?
wait, do you know what?
I remember. I don't know if I've told this on here before, but I was at OVW and Johnny Ace came down and he was like, "Kenny, when are you going to start stepping on people?"
Oh
was
yeah.
What do you mean? He's like, "Well, are you here to make money or make friends?" And I remember thinking, like, fucking both. Can I have both? ¿Por qué no las dos? That was just a mentality.
Those are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And do you know what's
Yeah.
funny?
Funny
See, if
stuff
I
like
was in that environment, I would laugh. See, just even you telling me the story, like, people like, would you mean by that? I would honestly, you would hear me laughing so badly, man, because it's just so ridiculous, isn't it? When you think about it, like, when's the last? Ken, here's a question for you. Since being in wrestling, when is the last time? Take wrestling out of the equation. When was the last time people treated you like they did treat you in wrestling, or not just you, but people treat each other in wrestling? And was it nursery school?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was I had it good when I started in the WWE, and I had it good my entire career, really. Like, I never got hazed. But I saw some, like, mean shit, mean stuff that they did to people. Like, yeah, like, really, really, holy fuck, that's evil, kind of.
Mm.
Like, I won't say who, but I remember we were overseas somewhere. We'll say we were in Scotland, right? And we were leaving the hotel. Everybody had piled onto the bus, and we were waiting for somebody to, like, there was a couple guys that were straggling, a couple stragglers. And somebody had they came on the bus and they were bragging that they had gone and taken a huge Ziploc bag, like one of the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
They had gone to the cart that the staff, like the
cleaning cart.
The cleaning cart, right? Like, they had taken all the lotions and shampoos and conditioners and they dumped it all in this Ziploc bag, and they went to a wrestler's room whom was not on great terms. He was kind of like, if everybody was fucking with him on a daily basis, and they slid the open end of that Ziploc bag under their door and just, like, fucking stomped on the bag so it went all over the interior of the room.
Jeez.
And I remember, this person came down and they were like, I just did this and I just did this. Watch when he comes. And this person, you came, his fucking face beat red. You could tell they're trying not to sell it. Because if you sell it, you get it worse. That's just the way it goes. But yeah.
That is ridiculous. Like, I'm laughing at the concept of, like, having stuff done to you and then you're not being able to respond. And, like, it's almost like, what are the rules to this game, right? what are the real rules? Because like in reality, somebody fucks with you. I mean, there's a joke, right? And like if someone did that to me and it was a one-off, I'd probably like what the fuck, right? But if you're constantly getting it, I think there comes a point where it's like, right, do we not respect the person that goes, right, what one of you fuckers done that, and let's
Who
get
did
off
it?
this
Let's
bus
fucking go. Let's go.
right fucking now?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Does no one in that bus go, this seems like
And that's
reasonable?
and honestly, that would have that torment, that torture would have ended right then and there.
Yeah.
And that I've seen that happen too. Like they finally stood up for themselves and like
Yeah.
on second thought, I was just fucking around. God, don't
Yeah.
be so serious. God, why?
Yeah,
But
I get that. No, that's
it is what it is.
it's unfortunate. And do you know what's funny? Like, see me, I'm all for that. Like, see if Connor and I went on tour tomorrow, right, and we're doing 5 different countries, he's fucking with me and I'm fucking with him. Like, I would love that because
Yeah.
it's playful. Like,
Yeah.
it's totally. We know that it's coming from a place of friendship and
Yeah.
not torment, and I think that truly is what that's where you get off the bus comes in. Whether you know it's torment or you know it's friendship.
There's a
The latter's. This is where it's at, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your reaction to the film. You said that when it all because you do your scenes, and then that sets a wrap. You go away, and it's being
and
edited.
it was really quick too. We shot in 22 days. We were in and out of Puerto Rico in 22 days.
Wow.
Which is really pretty fast for a film.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Joe telling me that normally most films operate at like 1 to 2 pages of dialogue a day, or I think it's 1 to 2 pages of dialogue a day is generally like considered like normal in that industry from the script. And we were doing like 6 to 7 pages of dialogue a day. We were burning through.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry I cut you off there.
No. I was just saying, like, when you first watched the film, did it come out the way that you kind of felt you did? Like, because you probably, when reading the script, you have an image of what it's going to look like. You're on set, you got a feel for what you think it's going to look like.
Yeah.
Aside from the CGI, which no one can really predict how that's going to look. By the way, this was 2009. CGI still to this day is not perfect, so I think it gets a pass.
I actually, to be perfectly honest, I didn't think it was like, I was happy with it. I really was. And Anastasia and I just watched it recently because she had never seen it and I hadn't seen it since it released. So I was like, yeah, let's watch it. And I'm,
Do you feel like that? Is that
I
just
do that when I watch my stuff. I'm like, oh,
right?
I don't watch it. Okay, all right, here we go. No, but yeah, no, I was pretty happy with it, and actually, I was really happy with. I think the story. It was a decent story. I think there was some really good actors in it. There was no glaring, like, terrible acting choices by anybody, I don't think.
Nope.
Special effects were pretty solid, except for there's a couple, like you said, CGI moments, or whatever.
The parachute jump, that was it's the only bit I picked up on. The parachute jump when he's parachuting down.
That
there's
was
1 or 2 bits with the green screen. It just you could tell it was a green screen.
The thing is, do you know what's crazy? See the part where the guy's family gets destroyed at the start and the building blows up.
Yeah.
There's a quite a, I wouldn't say bad, but there's a 2-star effect, and then there's like a 4-star effect right after it, and I'm like all the really good visual effect only highlighted the bad one before it, so they should have just taken that one out and left one effect. Do you know what I mean? But see, to be honest, it's an action film, right? And it's a film. When you watch a film, it's like watching a wrestling match. When you go, right, well, his footwork was off. No. Sit the fuck down and just enjoy the ride, right?
Like, so you don't have to nitpick every single.
100%. And that's how I basically review films. I get sent films every day almost through my door, codes and all that to review films. And I always liken it to a dog putting its face at the window. The dog isn't like, right, why am I doing this? Where are we going? It's just like, man, this feels so good. Right? And that is it. If you can feel like that, the film is doing its job. And I felt like this film most definitely did that. Another thing as well, as a wrestler, right, and probably the only person on set that wasn't from the acting world, at no point did I watch a performance and go, at all. Everything was as it should have been, right? You played the character to how your character, and this is what like you basically said at the start. Joe Manganiello was the main star. You were billed as the main star, so I was expecting, Kennedy as the main star, and then very quickly I was like, but then I was like, it makes sense. Like realistically, if you're putting money into something, you're going to want the biggest name on so that does make sense. Everything does make sense. But I was like, I get what your character is as well. It was like the muscle, the you've got Joe Manganiello who is kind of carrying it, but then you're there for your specific. What do you say, a heater? A heater?
Kind of, yeah.
Heater, right? To an extent, of course.
A little comic relief every once in a while,
but deeper than a heater, of course, right? Because notoriously, yeah, of course. So every part was played to exactly how it was supposed to, and as well, you've got Keith David, who was in the original 2 as well. So you're keeping the lines there.
Oh, he was. I didn't realize that.
He's the only actor that's reprised his role continuously through all 3 films.
Huh.
Did he not mention that when on set? No.
No.
You would have thought that, that he would have maybe. And by the way, for you as well to be in such a group of really good, talented actors as well. You say like if you get into the ring with someone, the stuff you can learn there. But look at the wealth of talent that you were in there as well. Do you ever keep up with any of the guys from the film at all?
I did. I still keep up with Joe every once in a while. Like something will pop up. I can't remember the last thing I something popped up and I saw it. I think because I know he's a big D&D. He's Dungeons and Dragons.
Hell yeah! By the way, I like D&D.
He's got his own. He's got his own company that does like. I think it's a clothing company, but it's based around Dungeons and Dragons, and I know he hosts. And he's one of my favorite shows. My second favorite show, top 5 favorite shows of all time is The Big Bang Theory.
Right.
There's a big scene in there, one of the episodes where him and Kevin Smith and I think William Shatner and all these other guys are playing Dungeons and Dragons at who's Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton, he's huge on D&D.
Yeah. So it was like, but I found out that the Dungeons and Dragons movie was coming out. So I was like, what's your take on that? Like, are you going to try to be in it? And he was like,
yeah.
Terrible.
No. Right. Well, I was doing cinema marketing at the time when that came out. I turned the film on, and one of the guys I know who he works in Hollywood. He's quite a huge guy. He's actually stepped into the role of Darth Vader, etc. He's the big thing at the start of that film. So for me, I was like, oh yeah, but I agree. See if you're going to go to the D&D diehards, that film is like, oh come on, but
you did him dirty.
It's great that they did a film about D&D, though. You know what I mean? It's a win for that community.
Isn't that the second one now?
I think that.
I thought they did one a couple years ago, and then this one was supposed to.
Yeah, they did do Dungeons and Dragons, but I don't think it was marketed the same, nor in the same type of vein. This was the first one that they actually marketed as actual Dungeons and Dragons, as opposed to a film called Dungeons and Dragons that was kind of about the same thing. If you want a really good Dungeons and Dragons film, what's the Vin Diesel one? The Witch, Season of the Witch, which is based off of his D&D character. Vin Diesel plays his own D&D character.
Oh, okay.
You ever played D&D, by the way?
I've never played it. It's something I want to. Anastasia's played it one time.
Oh, wow. So good. As long as you've got a good was it DM, the Dungeon Master. We
Yeah.
should totally do a live one at some point. The thing is, though, they can take hours. But the good thing is, it's like it's all story driven. Really, if you're someone that wants to get into like creating stories, writing, character development, it's all
Yeah.
there. You're playing it at a table. I love it. I'm quite big on character development, but it's no, that's pretty cool. That you should connect with him on D&D and maybe actually join one of his games. I'm sure he does it on Twitch, so you should join with him. And
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. You know, I
Uh,
know. And then another thing that we connected with was
Mhm.
my kids. The Smurfs movie came out.
Nice.
The fully animated Smurfs movie, and he played one of the characters in there.
Yeah.
Just hey, watch how you doing, that kind of thing. But other than that, I kept up with Tim Matheson for a little bit, but no, I guess don't really keep up with anybody.
Yeah, it's life though. I think maybe if you were to see them in passing or whatever, it'd be a good catch up. Yeah, because at the end of the day, you made a film. That's not just, regardless of where it belongs in the world,
Yeah.
you're still there and you're still working closely and you're creating bonds. So they're very, very important. I totally agree with that.
And we did have, I felt like we had a good working relationship. I remember the assistant director tried to get me after she tried to get me on because she was doing Burn Notice. There was a show called Burn Notice.
Mhm.
I remember she reached out to me and said, "Hey, I've got a role that I want you to read for." And I had to call Johnny. And I remember, "Hey, why is this person reaching out to my talent, asking them to?" He was mad about it, and fucking
Wow.
they shut it down.
Oof.
It's such an ass backwards, back to front. Why is this person reaching out to my talent?
Yeah.
Who's an independent contractor too, by the way.
Right. Of course.
But that's a
There's
topic for another day.
100%. I
Mhm.
think we can go deep on that one as well.
Was there
and again,
many wrestling fans on set that like spoke to you about wrestling or?
Joe Manganiello was a huge wrestling fan. So here's a funny story. This is kind of funny. Joe was a huge wrestling fan his whole life. He knew stuff too, he got references. And he said that he was on Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, and Macho Man Randy Savage was in that film as Bonesaw, right?
yes, sponsor.
Yep.
Bonesaw. And he said that on the day, Sam Raimi was the director. He said on the day that Bonesaw was doing when they were filming those parts, Joe wasn't needed. But he asked Sam, he's like, "I'm such a huge wrestling fan, and I love Randy Savage. Can I come that day?" And yeah, of course. Come on down. So he gets there and he meets Randy, and he said he said like he went up to Randy and was like, "Hey, Randy, I'm a huge fan. My name is Joe. I play Flash Thompson in the movie." So, all right, nice to meet you. And they took a picture, and he said, the craziest thing for him was realizing that like that wasn't a put on, that was his real voice.
Yeah.
He'll always talk like this, And he said, "Could you imagine if he had like a really like high pitched voice?"
Yeah.
First time I met the Crusher in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
The Crusher
Mhm.
carried the half barrel on my shoulder all the way here. Like, "Hey, my name is Benny. How you doing?" Like, had a really, yeah.
Wow.
But he said that, he put him over, took the picture with him, whatever, and then like later on in the day, they were just like, they broke for a little bit, and Randy happened to be like talking to somebody, and he looked over and he saw Joe there, and he goes, "Flash knows what I'm talking about, right? Flash." Yeah.
Slash.
Slash knows what I'm talking about.
That's amazing. And Joe has his Macho Man Randy Savage story. You know, how many
Yep.
people can say that? I wonder if he took a picture. Take the picture.
I don't have a Macho Man. Is one of the few that I've never met. I never got
Wow.
the opportunity to meet.
Wow.
That's unfortunate. He's
Yeah.
a wrestling legend. That's how you know. See, when you can quote them or do an impression and everybody knows who they are, that's when you know you've transcended like a pro wrestler. You become a superstar, an attraction. He was most definitely that.
You guys have probably seen this, but there's an actor. Was his name Soder? Steven Soder?
Mm,
He
Steve.
just did Chris Van Vliet. The best Macho Man Randy Savage impersonation I've
Yes, I did see
ever heard
that.
in my life.
Yeah.
So good. And then he does Andre the Giant, and that's even better. Do you
Wow.
see his Andre
I
impersonation?
think so, yeah. I think I saw it before Chris Van Vliet.
I need to watch this.
It's so good. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. My mate Todd does a really good HBK, but that's his guy, so I need to send it over to you sometime.
He's
I
good.
sometimes dabble with impressions, but that's for another one.
Oh yeah.
Especially for wrestling. We'll definitely do it on the next live, okay? And we should get Connor to try it as well. We should actually get people to super chat us names, and we should all do an impression and have people pick which one's the best.
That's good. I'm game.
It should be fun.
I
It
had a
should be fun.
student who used to do an impersonation of me, and it was
Really?
actually really good. Oh yeah, he had it down to a T.
Oh man, excellent. I think thing is though, a good impression comes when someone doesn't just do the like. So for you, if someone says, "Oh, go and impersonate," they would go, "Mister." No,
Oh
I'm
no,
talking do a Kennedy
he,
promo. Yeah,
he didn't do any of that. No, it was just like mannerisms and stuff like that.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
yeah, it was non-promo Ken. It was
Ah, nice.
Coach Ken.
Hell yeah. Good, good, good. Well, we'll definitely that's going to be so much fun when we do that, baby.
See
Right?
if I can get him. I should reach out to him, see if he wants to come out here.
You totally should. That'd be fun.
Or
We could do.
he can sit in for me
Mhm.
for an episode.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. That'd be amazing. But yeah. So final question on this, Ken. If
Yeah.
you could go back and work on that movie again, or even do Behind Enemy Lines 4, what would you do different based on your time working there before?
Mm, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot different, honestly. Like I feel like I took it seriously. I again, this is something I had always wanted to do. Um, I never phoned it in. I never felt like I was phoning it in. I guess I always like since I've done it and since I've then went on to at least attempt to do more
Mhm.
stuff and hired an acting coach. I guess I maybe would have hired an acting coach earlier so that I could there are things scenes that I see, like certain lines that I would have done differently.
Mm-hmm.
I think that comes anyway with everything you do in life.
Yeah.
When you think
It
about
does, for
even
sure.
not just in the professional sense, but in a personal sense, you go, oh, you look back a couple of years ago and you go, maybe if I'd thought this way than that way. So I suppose it would be crazy to say, oh, there's nothing I would change, but it's good though. Everything that you did at the time was right for who you were at the time, for everything that you had learned and leading you to now. And by the way, this I'm sure we'll see Mr. Anderson, Mr. Kennedy in more films to come. Also, if anybody's out there that would like to see Mr. Anderson, Mr. Kennedy in their film, then you know where to hit us up. It's right here at KenAndersonShow@mail.com, or just message us everywhere. We are available everywhere on YouTube, X, Instagram, everywhere. So if you got any interesting opportunities, most definitely hit us up there. And you can become a YouTube member, where if you want to become a professional wrestler, you can have one-to-ones with Ken on a monthly, weekly basis. You can do that just by hitting the join button below. There are several tiers there. Thank you to everybody that has signed up as a member, but you can choose to have one of the membership tiers that would best suit what it is that you want to get from this show. And we get so many people tuning in our lives. Thank you very much to everybody that does that. And if you're watching today and you haven't subscribed, smack the subscribe button, because every click helps for sure to push this show on. Ken, I've absolutely loved talking movies with you, and I don't think it'll be the last time we do, because I know that it's a passion we share: TV shows, movies, wrestling. I mean, what's more to love? Is there anything you would like to share with the fine folks before we wrap?
No, the pleasure was all yours.
As always, it is. And make sure to tune in next week, where things become
broken.